Before a machine learning model can complete a task such as identifying cancer in medical images, the model must be trained. Training image classification models typically involves showing the model millions of example images gathered into a massive dataset. However, using real image data can raise practical and ethical concerns. The images could run afoul of copyright laws, violate people's privacy, or be biased against a certain racial or ethnic group. To avoid these pitfalls, researchers can use image generation programs to create synthetic data for model training. But these techniques are limited because expert knowledge is often needed to hand design an image generation program that can create effective training data. Researchers from MIT, the MIT IBM Watson AI Lab and elsewhere took a different approach. Instead of designing customized image generation programs for a particular training task, they gathered a dataset of 21,000 publicly available programs from the internet. Then they used this large collection of basic image generation programs to train a computer vision model. These programs produce diverse images that display simple colors and textures. The researchers didn't curate or alter the programs, which each comprised just a few lines of code. The models they trained with this large dataset of programs classified images more accurately than other synthetically trained models. And while their models underperformed those trained with real data, the researchers showed that increasing the number of image programs in the dataset also increased model performance, revealing a path to attaining higher accuracy. Machine learning models are typically pre-trained, which means they are trained on one dataset first to help them build parameters that can be used to tackle a different task. A model for classifying X-rays might be pre-trained using a huge dataset of synthetically generated images before it is trained for its actual task using a much smaller dataset of real X-rays. These researchers previously showed that they could use a handful of image generation programs to create synthetic data for model pre-training. But the programs needed to be carefully designed so the synthetic images matched up with certain properties of real images. This made the technique difficult to scale up. In the new work, they used an enormous dataset of uncurated image generation programs instead. They began by gathering a collection of 21,000 images generation programs from the internet. All the programs are written in a simple programming language and comprise just a few snippets of code, so they generate images rapidly. These simple programs can run so quickly that the researchers didn't need to produce images in advance to train the model. The researchers found they could generate images and train the model simultaneously, which streamlines the process. They used their massive dataset of image generation programs to pre-train computer vision models for both supervised and unsupervised image classification tasks. In supervised learning, the image data are labeled, while in unsupervised learning, the model learns to categorize images without labels. When they compared their pre-trained models to state-of-the-art computer vision models that had been pre-trained using synthetic data, their models were more accurate, meaning they put images into the correct categories more often. While the accuracy levels were still less than models trained on real data, their technique narrowed the performance gap between models trained on real data and those trained on synthetic data by 38%. The researchers also used each individual image generation program for pre-training in an effort to uncover factors that contribute to model accuracy. They found that when a program generates a more diverse set of images, the model performs better. They also found that colorful images with scenes that fill the entire canvas tend to improve model performance the most. Now that they have demonstrated the success of this pre-training approach, the researchers want to extend their technique to other types of data, such as multimodal data that include text and images. They also want to continue exploring ways to improve image classification performance.